We're in business.
We're in business.
Hell yeah. We had a tattoo artist in on Monday to do this, and I think I clapped maybe like 2 or 3 times during it. And she was like, "What the fuck is that about?" Basically, she didn't say that outright, but she basically like looked at us like we were crazy. I think at one point she commented, "I don't know what that was," or something. But
the clapping,
Yeah.
sync the audio.
Yeah, because that's sort of our cue to know, like, oh, we're fake cutting that out, you know, even though we probably won't.
Right. But that's where you can check to see in the edit.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. We'll. I think we're recording, but we will definitely wait for Trev to finish answering this work email. He brought his work to the podcast.
How rude!
So we will wait.
I'm
actually doing podcast
for
work
him
right now.
to
be honest, I am prepping for
answer
more
his
questions.
work email and watch the wrestling match.
Wait,
that
so
is
are you
happening
interviewing
today.
us? Is this
what's happening today?
What's gonna happen?
This is an interview of Danny and Andy here. You guys been doing this podcast for a minute now. How do you feel about it?
Good.
Great.
All right.
Except for it feels kind of hot in here right now.
It is a little warm.
It is a little warm in here.
Yeah, I went with the coffee. I feel bad about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I put a couple ice cubes in it after I made it, but
Really?
didn't help. They melted like right away.
Was it hot coffee when you put the ice cubes in originally?
Essentially, you just watered down your coffee.
Yeah, basically. Well, I like my coffee with a little water. Sue me. It's just beans anyway.
I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I won't see you.
Cool.
Okay.
It's my lucky day.
It is.
Well, hello, Trev. Thanks for doing this. This is number 4 now, right?
This is number 4? Is it 4 or 4.5?
4.5.
7.5.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah. I was in a lot of that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a half episode. I'm in that whole episode, basically.
You were there.
Yeah.
There was one time when Travis Dodge did the podcast, Jake was sitting in on the episode too, and I don't think he said a word at all, but he was just like sitting at the table with us.
It sounds
and
like
then
Jake.
at one point, I think he just like got up and left too.
Okay.
But like just didn't say anything. I think at one point you can hear Travis and I say later, but no one will ever know who we were saying later to, unless of course they're listening to this right now.
Yeah.
And the truth is now
Long-time
coming
listeners.
out.
Yeah, shout out to Jake. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Hey.
We love you, Jake. He's definitely gonna listen.
He better.
Cool.
Yeah, I think
Maybe he'll watch
If
Yeah.
you
on YouTube.
If you have friends that don't listen to your podcast, are they really friends?
I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But
Podcasts aren't for everybody, but they are for me.
Yeah,
I love eavesdropping on people.
Fair.
it does sort of feel like that,
It's
right?
it's like, my mom was a gossip, and now I'm just listening to other people talk.
Yeah, I guess. Listening to podcasts is sort of like listening in on a conversation in the next booth over when you're at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Except the sound quality's better.
Yeah,
and you
it's-
can hear what they're saying.
Yeah, and usually you want to hear what they're talking about. It's not forced on you.
Yeah.
Like a lot of eavesdropping is you just being like, I'm next to this person. I guess I'm hearing this combo.
Right.
And you can go back and re-listen to it.
True.
Yeah, true.
If you can't hear it clearly for whatever reason, you can always go back.
Yeah.
Right. Lacey is so good at eavesdropping on people. We'll be in a place somewhere, eating breakfast or something.
Yeah.
And I'll be telling her something, and then she'll just be like, "Oh, sorry, I was listening to these people over here talking about this. Have you heard them?" Which is essentially like saying, "Hey, I was listening to somebody more interesting than you over there." Basically. Just
Danny, don't be a girl about it.
JK, Lacey, don't get mad.
Listen, I think it's fine. People are talking. We're in public.
Yeah.
If I heard you, I heard you.
True.
Yeah.
I got in trouble the other day for pretty much the same thing, but in a different context.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The
what
TV
happened?
was going. The girlfriend was talking to me. I think the couple kids were off doing something, so I had a lot of stuff going on. And then something happened on the TV, and I'm zoned into the TV, and apparently she said something like, "Are you listening?" And I wasn't. And I turned back to her and I'm like, so what was that? And then she just nothing. And I'm like, oh, I fucked up. Yeah. But my ADHD got the best of me.
Listen, it affects us all in different ways.
Yes.
Yeah. I got to pay attention to this one thing.
Yeah. Wrestling?
Yeah. No, wrestling. I have that on it's in the back. It's minimized, so I'm not even watching.
Cool. He said as he turned his eyes back to his computer screen.
I can show you.
Just cheesing.
Yeah.
Nice. You have the Hexing flyer pulled up.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I also have the Tim flyer pulled up.
Nice.
That's when I said I was doing podcast work. I was doing it.
Hell yeah. Very cool. Well, we'll get into that eventually. I do want to open up today's conversation with, did you watch the game last night?
What game?
I have not watched the game yet, no.
Watched the game?
No.
Oh, yeah. There was a basketball game on last night.
Yeah.
My Philadelphia 76ers have been eliminated from the playoffs.
No.
I'm so sorry, dog.
Yeah, it was tough.
At least your team's getting into the playoffs.
True. Yeah.
My team hasn't been in the playoff for a while, so. But I'm a hockey fan.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that, unfortunately. But
yeah, dang.
Yeah.
I mean, with it was Embiid was out, right?
Yeah, no, he played the last 3 games.
Yeah, but
4
he got
games in
hurt
the
real
series.
bad. Yeah. I mean, he needs to take care of himself.
Yeah, he was playing.
He's a star. I mean, it's heartbreaking to see that happen. Yeah.
He was playing with a broken bone in his face and a torn ligament in his thumb.
Damn.
And I guess a knee injury.
Yeah.
That he's had since last season.
Yeah.
That's one damaged man.
Yeah.
Athletes are insane.
Yeah.
But he cares,
Yeah.
He wants it bad,
Yeah. Speaking of basketball, you recommended me watch that Draymond thing, and I did.
Oh,
and I cried a bunch. About his old teammate Adrian Payne, who just passed away. They went to Michigan State together, and I really watched college basketball a ton when they were on the team together. So it was just crying.
Kind of hit home a little bit.
Well, it's I mean, it's tragic the way how he passed, what happened.
Yeah.
Hearing all these players that I liked, and I paid attention to those runs a ton.
Yeah.
And just hearing Draymond be honest about it was just real heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And it's Michigan State basketball. I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy. How many players from Michigan State end up in the league first off, and then a guy like that who he was out of the league for a couple of years though, wasn't he?
Yeah, a little bit.
He was drafted back in 14.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It might have been a year or two after that, but
something like that.
Yeah.
But
still, it was sad to hear tragic stuff like that when it was just you saw they recapped what he did in college, and he was helping out with they had kids who were sick visit, and or they were visiting a kid's hospital one day, the team was, and he connected with this one family that had this girl with a terminal illness, and she just loved the basketball team, and then she became his favorite player. And there's this amazing story about the two of them just being friends and stuff. And then Draymond said it in his video that he passed away going to help someone who was in a domestic abuse thing. Didn't think this is where the podcast was going. And he got shot, and it was just wow, real tragic. Yeah.
Very sad.
Yeah. But I do suggest people watch that if that's something that they care about, because it's it's a good vid. It's a good just Draymond being real genuine person and stuff.
Yeah, that's what's nice about his podcast, which I would recommend for basketball fans. He's a very real person.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're all real people.
But I mean, know what I mean, some people when they're in that position, you can be. You can put on a facade if you're a broadcaster. You're this is my this is who I am in public. Then I'm someone a little different in private, which I guess most people are like that at work. But still, it's when you have such a public job.
Yeah. Speaking of which, how are you at work? Do you how many percentage wise?
Yeah.
Trevor at work versus Trevor out of work. how similar are they?
I mean, I don't know. It's two different modes.
Sure.
Feels like.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm pretty good at being myself most of the time, but I mean, there's times when you just got to be professional and like, do your job, and sometimes that means just like sticking through something even though you might not want to, or it may not be your cup of tea what you're doing. But I'm myself mostly at work.
Yeah.
Like my coworkers, I'm pretty honest with all of them, so that's nice.
Yeah, I can't imagine you not really being honest with them at all. What? Just in case,
like I joke around a ton.
Just in case your coworkers and or bosses are listening, what are 5 things you'd change about your workplace environment?
I would increase the amount of Diet Coke there is in the office.
Okay.
And I'd do that 5 times.
Oh, nice. Right on. So 5 times more Diet Coke in the office.
Yeah, because there's 0 right now, and I had to go to Meijer to get this.
Dang.
Shout out to Meijer one time.
One time.
Just one time.
Pour one out into my stomach.
Hell yeah. So I don't really know what we're going to talk about on this. You've been here, this is your 4th and a half time now.
Yeah, 4th and a half.
So I think where
do we want to go?
I'd like to start off with comedy, because that sort of feels like the more like purging thing in your life right now that you've been doing.
Yeah, I've been doing it a ton.
Now, you just recently did an improv with Tyler.
Yeah. That was fun.
We talked about it a little bit, but tell me how that went. Or tell the people how it went.
For anyone who I don't know, if you're friends with me, friends with Danny, you might know me. I've been playing in bands for a long time, and then the pandemic hit, and I felt this need to perform. And I've been looking at classes at the local improv theater. There's a place called The Comedy Project that I go to every week now, and it's been a great place for me to learn and grow and to get into comedy, because I always was a huge fan. And like when I was a kid, I did like school plays, and then when I was a teen, I just played sports, so I never did them, and I jumped into music right after that. So it's like something that I liked to do when I was a kid, but it was something that once I started doing it again, I was like, oh yeah, I love this. This is fun, because improv is a lot of just like acting and thinking on your feet and trying to be clever. And so I've taken a bunch of different classes there. I've taken sketch writing. I've taken improv classes. I've taken performance classes. And I love the Comedy Project. The people over there are great. And Tyler, who people might know as MC Deep, people might know as the Yardapalooza organizer. He's hilarious. And he's done comedy for a little bit longer than I have. And he's got this incredible stage presence that makes him really fun to improvise with. And I don't know, we just had our first performance the other day, and it was a lot of fun. And we just played a regular long-form improv game where it was like we got a suggestion and then just did scenes off of that. And we just did Comedy Outlet Mondays at the Comedy Project, which is kind of like their open mic night, and got like 10 minutes, and it went really well. And now we're figuring out how we might do it monthly now. So we might not stick with that same name we used the first time.
What was the name you guys wanted?
WWJD.
What does it stand for?
What would Jesus do?
Oh.
And then our get was, what's like a moral quandary you're having right now? What's something that's not a bummer, but something that you ate leftovers that were your partners, and now you're like, was I supposed to do that? Should I apologize? That was kind of like the get. And then we just did scenes off of what the audience suggested. Yeah, it was lots of fun. I love it.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Tell me a little bit about like when you're performing improv, because it's all kind of just sort of spun out of nowhere, I guess, in a way. I mean, maybe some of it's planned or the ideas. You know
it's
how to
fun of our imagination and our like.
But I mean, like tell me a little bit about like your feeling on stage versus like maybe performing in the band, because like when we play shows, we've rehearsed it, we know what the songs are going to sound like. We might riff a little bit while we're playing and do that, like, because we're comfortable with the song or whatever. But as far as improv goes, it's probably not something you rehearse prior to it.
No, that's the special thing about it is that it's all on the spot, and every show is going to be different, and it's personalized to whoever the audience is generally.
So first,
go ahead.
I was just saying, so first time doing improv versus this past Monday when you and Tyler did the improv. I mean, how are you going into that? Where you never really done it before. How do you sort of navigate your way through it the first time compared to now?
So, it started off odd because I started doing comedy during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like I had been looking up classes in 2019, and like saw this theater, because it's down the road from my house, and it's like nice on the west side, right near Mitten Brewery, right near Long Road, and they offer classes. So I took a sketch writing class, and then let's see, that must have been, when was that? It must have been 2021 then. Did I start in 2021 or 2022?
It would have been 2021.
I think it must have been 2021.
I started coming to see you perform in like the spring or so.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you were doing Monday nights back then, because your classes were Mondays. Or no, they were on Sundays, and your class would do the
thing on Mondays.
Yeah.
And the Monday, I love doing the Monday night comedy outlet, Monday nights, that's run by Sean Francis, who is one of the main improvisers and players at the Comedy Project. But that's like his own. It's like his own show. Yeah. Like the Comedy Project lets him do it there.
He's the tall one that sometimes does the like the Weekend Update-esque.
Yeah. That's his segment. Yeah. And I've recently started helping write for that, and that's been fun.
Nice.
Yeah. And like that's really cool because you just like look up things in the I look up things from social media, from news from the area, and then just trying to make local jokes, stuff that I think would fit like on Weekend Update or The Daily Show or something, that style of joke.
Yeah.
Right. Or like a one-liner. I like to do like a short one-liner. Like one of the jokes I wrote was like Rosa Parks Circle in Grand Rapids recently got a brand new millage approved for a few $1 million to get it redesigned downtown, only to produce a bigger circle. And then that was like the thing. And then they had like a picture cue to go with that and stuff like that.
That's pretty good.
It's like funny stuff like that.
Yeah.
I forgot where we started.
We've just been talking about improv. I asked you what your first compared to more recent performance.
So my first time, I'm pretty comfortable on stage because of performing music. It's like, let's just get up here and do it. See let's see what happens. So I feel like I'm like raring and ready to go. And we played different games. We were still doing all amassed improv. So it's like, you got to listen really hard because people are like soft talkers or like someone just doesn't enunciate or project. It's like, all right, we got to make this scene happen. And generally the jams are after the show. So it's low pressure, it's like you're really only doing it for the other people there. to do it as well. Like
Right.
sometimes people stick around, but it's usually just like 5 to 12 to 15 people like doing improv with each other, and it's been in the same group relatively for the last year.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So you kind of develop your own little community.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
it,
it's
yeah.
cool. And I mean, there's Sean also like knows the stand-up scene here in Grand Rapids, and there's a bunch of good stand-ups. So like they all come
Yeah.
out to that show.
Nice.
So it's like I've got to meet a bunch of great improvisers and a bunch of great stand-ups over the last year, and it's been a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been reaching out to different stand-ups trying to get them on here. We actually
Yeah.
are interviewing Brianna Blackburn next week.
Nice.
Yeah,
She's
pretty-
hilarious.
yeah, she's very funny. Very excited about that one.
I think I saw her at Tip Top was the first time.
Okay.
And then saw her a bunch of other times. Then she started doing Monday nights a little, like every once in a while. And I went to her. She had a taping. She just did a comedy special,
Yeah, you mentioned that the other day.
and
Yeah.
it was so funny. I went to it. It was in Holland at the Park Theater, and it was pretty packed. And her family was there, and she kept on yelling at her family. And it was hilarious.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw her. I mean, I think I've seen her at Unruly a handful of times.
Oh, nice.
For their old comedy show they used to
Yeah.
do.
Did you see that they're doing stand up at the Fromfall now?
Yeah.
They're gonna have D. Ray Davis
and Donnell Rawlings.
Donnell Rawlings
yeah,
there.
it looks like a pretty good gig. I
Yeah.
think Brianna is actually opening for that show.
Yeah. And that
She's
looks
the
So this is
opener.
a plug for Bree.
Hell yeah.
Go to that show in
She's going to
Muskegon.
promote that 2 episodes in a row because I think she'll be the next episode we record. That's hilarious. But yeah, I think the more recent time I saw her, we were both at the show when she performed at the Laugh Fest show that you were.
Oh, the Laugh Fest show. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. That was a pretty good show all around. I thought all the comics were very good. And Tone Bell was like
Yeah. That was
not
a wild
quite
situation.
Dave
but yeah.
Chappelle assaulted
Yeah,
on
yeah.
stage, but in his own way, it was very like scary. I guess maybe
Well,
for
it
him.
was one of those things where he was a little buzzed, right?
Yeah,
It was the late show. He
Yeah.
came on at like 1:30.
And
This
he'd
show was
already-
about to end.
I think he said he'd already done a couple of shows that
He
day
had,
too.
yeah. And he was just about to go into a premise,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And he's like, there's too much divide in the world, right?
Yeah.
And this woman gets up and like exclaims, like, yes! And like runs towards him.
Yeah.
And it looks like she's about to like grab him. And he's like, should I hit her? No, I shouldn't. What's going on? And, you know, they ended up figuring it out, and she was embarrassed and a little too messed up for that night.
I
and
don't
left.
think she was nearly as embarrassed as the person that was there with
her.
her.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they roasted them right
I
after they
would
left. They left
hope-
like right away.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
OMG.
Yeah.
It was bad. The only thing I can really remember about that show, other than everybody being really funny, was I went to. Actually, think I've told this story on here before. So stop me if I have. But there was this. I went to use the restroom after the show, and this woman like yells at me as I'm walking up to one of the doors to use. There's like 3 or 4 restrooms up there, I think.
Yeah.
And I go to use one, and this lady, she's like, "Hey, Philadelphia," because I'm wearing my Sixers hoodie.
I don't think you told us yet.
No, I haven't told it. Okay, cool. And it took me a second for it to click in my head, but I was like, "Oh wait, my hoodie says Philadelphia. She's talking to me." And so I turned around, and she was like, "There's a line. I'm waiting too, you know." And I was like, "Yo, my bad," because they weren't in the hallway that the bathrooms were in. They were just standing adjacent to it in a group of people that was all talking. So like, no one's alert was focused at the bathroom, so I
Right.
think I'm good. And then so I'm like, "Oh, my bad," and I just turned around, went and stand on the wall with everybody else. And then this saint of a woman just standing there was like, "You know that bathroom's open, right? No one's in there. Someone just came out of it." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And then she just like turns and goes into the bathroom. And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." I felt like this lady was about to bitch me out real quick for a second. She just wasn't happy that I tried to use the bathroom before her, but she didn't even know there was one open.
It would have been way better if you would have been like, oh, okay, my bad, and then open the door, just walk in, and she'd
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah, that would have been a real power move. I should have done that. Next time I'm gonna.
but you didn't actually know that there's no
I
one
had
in
no
there,
idea.
so
Yeah.
that would be the gamble that you'd
Yeah.
have to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then get accidentally canceled or something.
Yeah. I wasn't worried about
Danny
this.
walks into bathrooms.
Yeah.
Headline.
That would be crazy.
Danny Bruick walks into bathrooms that people are using.
Well, I don't like that as much as the last one.
That sounds worse.
That makes you sound creepy. I don't think
People
I like that.
are defecating in the restroom, and Danny Bruick wants in.
Yeah, that one's somehow worse than the last one.
Now that's a clip I want rotated in promotion for this podcast.
Yeah.
Can we clip that?
I think we
We're
can make that
gonna
happen.
clip it, and
Yeah.
put it at the beginning.
We'll put it right at the beginning.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So just to confirm, I did start taking my classes in 2021 in January.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
I just
Circle
looked
back to
up.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so if people want to like exercise their funny bone in West Michigan, come to the Comedy Project. It's fun. Our friend Jordan took it,
Yeah, yeah.
and I mean, you know, improv might not be for him, but he's pretty funny. I think
is
he
funny.
enjoyed himself. Yeah.
Jordan's probably one of the funniest people I know.
Yeah.
Besides you, Andy.
No.
Oh.
What about him?
Oh, Trev's funny. He knows it. I don't need to say it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
you
I
said
think Jordan's funny
the
too.
funniest person that you know.
Well, I said one of the funniest.
One of the
people.
funniest. I heard him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Danny and I got
Yeah.
you, Danny.
We finish each other's
All right.
sentences. Sorry, I didn't let you finish that sentence. My bad.
That's all right.
Anyways, do you remember the first laugh that you got while you were performing in improv? Or the first, or we could say the first laugh that was substantial that made you realize, oh yeah, no, I need this sort of thing.
And is that a big confidence booster as you're going along?
Y'all, I don't know. Because the thing is, you know, I'm starting late. I started late. I was 28. I'm 29, about to turn 30. I've been performing. I love the laugh,
You're
but
right.
I don't need the laugh.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did a funny song, and that got laughs.
Yeah.
That was probably the most memorable one when I first did Stone and Going to Taco Bell song.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. But I don't know. Nothing that sticks out, because improv is one of those things where it's it's supposed to be like water, you know? It's supposed to just be
Tasteless.
no. It can be, but fluid. You know, it's not. I'm not trying to
You're not necessarily
like a
building up
base.
to something big.
Yeah.
You know, it's just,
the scene might,
right.
and if it's something that's really good, but I feel like all of my scenes have just been to do the scene and to get through it, and then I'm just trying to be real in the scene. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
It's
Yeah.
when you come up with the situation, make that situation real and make it interesting and make a choice and honor that. And you should have a funny scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because the comedy podcast I listen to, a lot of the comedians, they'll say if say someone asks them how their show went, they might say oh well, I was good, but the crowd wasn't good. Do you find? I mean, granted, your performances might not be on the same scale as some of those comedians that might say that, but your performances, do you kind of feel that way sometimes, where you're performing and what you're doing might be technically funny, because the comedy is
well, I get that. That's if you make a niche reference and someone laughs, you'd probably be happy that someone got that reference.
But do you find that sometimes when you perform, say you perform at Comedy Project on a Monday night show, and it's somebody who's just there to support a friend, but they might not be super into comedy,
Uh-huh.
or maybe not the comedy that you guys might be performing, you know, are there times when you're performing and you kind of are like, oh, we're on tonight, this crowd is just not responding to it, you know?
I've more seen those shows happen. I've been lucky enough where they haven't happened to me a ton yet, but I have done a few things of stand-up. I've done a few stand-up sets where it's like, my material's funny, but I don't think that this might be the right audience for it.
Right.
I mean, I feel like, you know, in bands we've experienced similar things where it's like,
for sure.
I know our band is good.
Yeah.
So it's like, if this crowd doesn't like it, that's their fault.
That's on them.
That's on
like,
them.
They
Yeah.
obviously
I know our
didn't
band
come
is
here
good.
to enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
And then so more so what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
I guess,
and if I mess up and I'm mad at myself for messing up, that's a different thing.
Right.
Than just like enjoying performing, which I feel like I try to do every time.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is like I feel like it's a healthy thing so
Yeah.
far, or like only being a year into it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love it. I mean, it's so much fun. People watch comedy all the time. It's like, yo, it could be in front of you. You could see it happen right there.
Right.
So, do you think that comedy, maybe we could either do just for you or maybe in a grand scheme, but do you think that there is a science to comedy? Like, do you feel, or do you think comedy should just be like genuine in a sense that it just sort of happens? You know what I'm saying? Or is it maybe both a little bit?
It's both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's definitely themes and formats and all sorts of books about how you could write things. I mean, you come up with a formula that's good and it gets laughs, then you did a great thing. I mean, Jeff Foxworthy has You Might Be a Redneck, and it's like those jokes work because there's a formula to it and there's a rhythm to it. And the rhythm gets you into it, and those are jokes that people can go and tell.
Yeah.
And then they remember you because they're just doing your joke a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And that spreads like wildflower. Wildflower? Wildfire. But wildflowers as well.
I think fire flower is what you're thinking of.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe. Or wildfire.
But also, I mean, there's nothing better than like a accidental fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that's just like completely unscripted, or a burp or a fart, or something that's just natural.
Burps and farts are hilarious.
Yeah.
No matter what you're slicing.
If it happens, it's gonna be funny.
Yeah.
And like you might, like, if you're doing an improv scene and you just blurt out something that comes to your mind and it's the funniest thing ever, and it's like, that's like, I'm glad there wasn't a script here, because
Right.
I probably wouldn't have thought of that to say that, but because we were in this situation, because of the context of the performance, I said this thing and it was the funniest thing in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Who do you think some of your influences are in comedy? Like, what comedians do you maybe think you?
I still
have
think I'm
picked
real
from?
new.
Yeah.
I feel like I like so much comedy. Like I'm still a sponge.
Sure.
So it's like I don't think I really have a defined niche yet. I feel like I'm still clay. Like I'm still like forming myself.
Clay Aiken.
Yeah, I'm still Clay Aiken. I'm trying to hit the high notes.
Yeah. Like so.
I don't want to be anything. That's not Clay Aiken,
That's Jason
and we don't
Mraz.
have the rights to that.
So do you think, like, when you're performing on stage, are you somebody? I'm not asking, like, are you somebody else in terms of, like, you're not Trevor Swanson, but, like, are you doing somebody like how, like, a comedian might start and he's doing
I like a lot of different comedians. Like, if it's like acting wise, I'm being Jack Black, or I'm being
Randy Savage.
oh yeah, Randy Savage.
hilarious.
I mean, wrestlers definitely lean into some of my characters and confidence. Yeah, I know. I grew up watching Matt TV. I liked Will Sasso a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I loved his sketches when I was a kid. And, like, I don't know. I identify with big guys, so it's like I like when it comes to like comedic acting. I loved Bill Murray. I loved like the old school, like the Blues Brothers.
Oh yeah.
Like John Belushi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Animal House, and then like Adam Sandler, like big goofy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's doing a basketball movie. Did you see that thing? I sent it to you. It looks pretty cool.
It does look pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's based around the Sixers. Like, that's the franchise that he works for.
Really?
Which kind of sunk me in. Even if Adam Sandler wasn't in the movie, I would probably go and see it
It
still.
looks good,
But
too.
it does look pretty
the plot of it
interesting.
looked
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. I probably will go and see it.
Yeah.
Or get Netflix for a free trial for a week just to watch it
Just to
or something.
watch it?
Yeah.
What? You know?
Yeah, I don't have Netflix.
Why?
Yeah, it's cheap, I guess.
Will you share your password with him?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that, and no one
should.
has shared their password
Will
with
you,
me quite yet.
Will you please give him your info?
I might have to.
Will you text it to him?
See, my plan, because
It's the only way he's going to watch it, man.
Yeah.
probably. Well, I have YouTube right now, YouTube TV,
Yeah,
but
I love it.
only until the playoffs are over, and then I'll
I never want to
probably
watch
get
ads
something
on
else.
YouTube ever again.
Yeah, it is truly the worst.
I'm afraid to get sucked into that
Yeah.
and get used to not having ads.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
and then
so
never
good.
want to go
thing,
back.
yeah.
I'm
I
thinking
just
about
deal
getting
with
rid
it.
of my other subscriptions and only keeping the YouTube one.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. There's so much content.
Yeah.
Most television shows, I feel like, cut their programs up into clips to watch, like on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you just make a playlist of the show you like,
Yeah.
you could watch it in its entirety,
Forever.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that seems kind of silly. That seems like more work than just like getting a streaming service,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
Depends on how big of a cheapskate you are.
true. I don't know. Trevor doesn't
I-
strike me as much of a cheapskate.
I don't.
Well, I'm broke.
That's why. you're always spending your money. That's why I don't think
Well,
you're much of a cheapskate.
I have a joke about.
Let's do it.
Okay,
Let's hear it.
Let me.
All the
pull up
jokes.
My notes.
Any jokes you wanna
Okay.
throw
Well,
on?
this is one of the reasons
Let's
I
go.
did bring my laptop so I
Yes.
could bring up my joke folder.
Yes.
So I have been doing
to
a
the
little bit of.
soundboard.
I have been doing a little bit of a stand up. I haven't done it in a couple weeks because we had band stuff this last weekend, and I had a work thing the weekend before. So I'm hoping to get back into it soon. But until then, I've just been because I'm also taking 2 comedy classes right now. So it's like I accidentally signed up for too many things because we have a show in a couple weeks. Plug. Tim is playing at the Pyramid Scheme. Well, I'm looking up my joke folder.
Do you guys want that filmed by chance?
I would love that to be filmed by
Yeah?
chance.
Yeah.
I would love to do some promotional shots here if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Or maybe me just doing a green screen video.
Ooh.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's off pod talk or if we can do that here. But I did find my joke folder.
All right, send that.
let's see.
We'll talk business after.
Okay, sounds good. So I've been charging myself a fat tax. It's kind of like a regular tax. It's not because I'm paying for something. I'm paying for a gym membership. And so I'm paying $22 a month to just guilt-free eat. Because I'm like, I could go to the gym. It's up to me. It's my fault. So I don't know. I'm working on that. That's new.
Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah. I've got so many jokes here that are just like ish. They're
Yeah.
like ish. Okay, so actually here I've just found the actual wording for it. I've been have you heard about this? Have you seen about this? Sorry. I've been paying for a Planet Fitness membership since they started charge. Sorry, I'm messing up right now. I'm messing this whole thing up. I'm messing this whole thing up.
Is this part of it? Is this part of the joke right now?
Yeah.
You messing up the joke is part of the joke.
I've been paying for a Planet Fitness membership since they decided to start charging us again. But I haven't been back yet. I like the idea of going, though. It's like I could charge myself for habits to get into shape, but I do have my own personal fat tax. It only costs me $13 a month to be fat. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
But I think it's more than that, actually. I recently did, I lost my,
your
scan-in
little thing,
card. Right? So they're like, you can do it on your phone, your app. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to do that. I tried doing it at the gym. My phone died while I was there.
Oh, my
and I was like, oh, man, I guess I'll take care of this next time I'm here. That was 3 months ago. And then the other day I went to cancel my gym membership. So I was like, maybe I'll get a Y membership instead. Maybe I'll just get rid of this and I'll go to the Y. That way I can play basketball or swim if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But then I figured it out, and now I have the scanner on my phone. So now I'm like, well, I should just go back to Planet Fitness since I got it all set up now, and now I'm ready to to start going to the gym and stuff like that. So yeah, because I'd like to be healthier.
Yeah, I get that. I like being.
We
healthy.
all want to be healthy.
Yeah.
I recently got a book called Breaking Up with Sugar. Because that's what diets really feel like, right? It's like you're depressed all the time. See your ex everywhere. And every single commercial, there's your ex! And everybody wants to eat her. That's one of my jokes.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. The Food Network. Did I put this on because I have the munchies? Or do I have the munchies because I put this on?
I like that one. That's pretty good.
Thank you. I don't know. I don't like calling my body a dad bod. It's more of a father figure.
That's hilarious. That's pretty good. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
I get so much more respect that way.
Have you said that one publicly? Have you told that joke?
That one's solid.
At a show or at an open mic?
I haven't. Yeah,
that one, well, that's pretty good. That's for sure getting some laughs.
So that's like, I don't know if that was a tag or a riff off of a different joke that I was telling. Like that one of my original ones. It's like I'm working on getting rid of my dad bod because I feel like I'm more going to get an uncle bod. You know, the guy that you call uncle, but it's just a weirdo that your parents were friends with 20 years ago. And they stopped hanging out with him. And he's like, hey, I used to smoke weed with your parents until about 18 years ago. When were you born? Yeah.
nice.
That's a bit I've done. So I think that was a tag off the other one.
That's great.
Nice. Yeah, really, really into that one.
Okay, I got another one for you, okay? Why is it that once you reach 300 pounds, every store goes to you and says, bowling shirts, that's the look for you? It's like you get, 3 strikes? 3 strikes get you a turkey, right? No, heart disease. Yeah, I don't know. Some pretty good ones in there.
Yeah. So where do you find inspiration in this? Like, how often are you coming up with your jokes, or where do you see
Every day.
Yeah.
Just like, I think things are funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like my outlook on life is comedic in general. It's just like, I don't know. We've talked about it before, but I had a semi-traumatic life growing up.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was hard, and the way that my dad would deal with it was through humor, and so that was my coping mechanism, and food, which is why I look like this. It's the same with him. And it's just, it's like everything is funny if you find a way into it.
Sure.
And it's just the way I cope with things, how I think about the world, Everything's a little funny.
Do you think part of where your comedy gene comes from is the fact that your dad looks a little bit and sounds a little bit like Louis Anderson?
Yeah. Let's see. I got a joke about that.
Hilarious. This wasn't a setup. I didn't know that you had a joke about that, just so you know.
Okay.
I was just genuinely asking.
Let's see if I can find the Louis Anderson one. I've got a bunch of jokes about my dad, though. They're pretty funny. Like, my dad is a Gino. He's a juggalo in name only. Like, one day he just met one cool juggalo and decided that's what he's doing. Yeah. So a rhino is a Republican in name only. So I was making a joke on that. That's a play off of that.
Gotcha.
Maybe it's just in my joke ideas. Maybe I haven't actually made a full-fledged joke out of this. That my dad is like one part Louis Anderson, one part Lewis Black.
Nice.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, because he's also like loud and yelly and opinionated when he wants to be.
Sure.
And then also a sweetheart who's just
Could play Zach Galifianakis' mom on TV.
yeah.
Gotcha. Where do you think, like, why do you think it is? 'Cause it seems like I'm going purely off comedy podcasts I've listened to. I myself am not like a performer in comedy or anything. But why do you think it seems as though maybe a lot of like stand-up comedians are so damaged and they have to do it? You know what I mean? Because does it sort of feel like something you mentioned earlier, kind of, that you
therapeutic.
had to perform?
It is therapeutic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like you get a performing high, like that anxiety that you feel like before we go on stage to play. Like I feel a tenseness in my shoulders and like an adrenaline. So I can see people definitely doing it for that. It's also just like sometimes you just need some place to say things, and some people don't go to therapy. They're like, I'll tell this in front of strangers, and if they laugh, then I'm validated for these feelings that I have or this idea that I have.
Yeah.
And I see it from both ways, but I feel like I'm looking at stand-up more from I really want to do well. Like I feel like I don't. I have this problem with us in the band. I have it's stuff I do in all my habits. It's like I put too much pressure on it to be really good, and then I never do it. Or there's or something that we just like pass over because it was like, well, if it's not worth putting out, then why put any energy into it? Which is not always the best attitude to have, but it's also like some kind of like bad thing that comes out of like wanting to be perfectionist and hands-on and control. Yeah, control's another thing. Like for stand-ups, at least, it's like if you didn't grow up with control, now all the attention's on you, and it's all up to you to knock out this performance.
Right. Yeah, you get to be in control, but you're also, like you said, you're kind of getting the attention or whatever that you might be craving. Now, as far as like performance, I mean, what are the differences, I guess, between performing in the band and then doing comedy? Like, what do you think?
Comedy, if you're performing improv, generally you're in a troupe or you have a group of people you're doing it with. So in that way, it's a little like the band. But if you're doing improv, it's more like jazz. Where
Just
if you're
play
doing
the right
sketch, it's more like a band. It's more like we rehearsed this. This is going to be good because we nailed down what we think is going to be good and it's going to get the desired reaction from the crowd. And we really hope the good parts hit hard and versus stand-up where you're out there alone. I'd say that's the biggest difference. Is like it's more on you to control the pacing, like if I was to play a solo set, like if I was to just play like guitar and sing, I'm in control of like how I manage the crowd. Where if you're in a band, you might have someone else talk, you might have someone else play a riff or play a fill while other people are preparing for the next piece.
Yeah. How much, like, because they're somewhat similar, I think, in terms of like an instant gratification.
Yeah.
You know, you might tell a joke and then you get this reaction that's supposed to be there. Pete Holmes has a really funny joke.
Yeah.
You might have seen it, where he tells about being a magician.
Yeah.
And like he talks about it like with like being a comedian, there's like a planned reaction to it. You tell a joke, someone laughs, but like as far as like a magician, like the sound behind it is people go, whoa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's not really like, the reactions are different. When we play in a show, we might get an applause or something, you know, after a song or after a block of songs or something.
Yeah.
And then it dies out, and then the crowd is just like looking at us, waiting for us to play the next song. Where like it's similar to that, where like if you tell a joke, you might get a laugh, which is the applause, or you might get an applause break of some kind, and then the audience just starts to stare at you again until you make the next punchline, or you tell like the next funny comment that you're about to say as part of your joke. What sort of like fuels you more, I guess? Do you like the laugh, or do you prefer the applause? Like what sensations do you get from each? I guess is really what I'm asking.
Well, you know, it's different. It's different for both. In a musical performance, people are a little more willing of an audience. They're giving generally.
Yeah, not
I mean,
all
it
the
depends
time.
on
We've played in front of some stinkers before. Let's be real here. No disrespect to the people that might. I love anybody that'll come and watch us play, but like sometimes like a crowd doesn't want to engage the way that you might want them to engage.
We've played a lot of places where we're not expecting music though.
Yeah.
But if you're playing at a place where you expect to see music, people are generally into it.
Right.
But like we've played a lot of places where like it's half bar music venue, half brewery where people are just coming to chill and sit down and didn't even expect, oh, there's a band playing tonight.
Right, yeah. Or the real compliment is them not leaving the room. Yeah. Instead of being engaged or dancing or clapping or bobbing their head or something. Yeah.
And I don't know. With comedy right now, because of improv, a lot of times I'm still in scenes. So it's like I'm not reacting as much.
Yeah.
It's like I'm reacting. I might laugh, but I don't really break a ton. I'm more break on the side or break in the back where I'm like giggling or laughing at what my like other performer did or said.
Yeah.
Where I feel like in music, at least in our shows or our performances, I'm more like in the moment and enjoying it and like laughing and like feeling good and thinking about what I'm playing next and trying to be. Because I'm also a front man when we perform. So I'm like also like in front man mode where it's like checking in, we're all doing all right. My voice isn't giving out.
Do you think, okay, so where are the parallels then between being a front man for a band and then being in the comedy slot? Because it's kind of like,
that's similar.
Yeah, it's because like, you're a little like how you mentioned
that's
control.
Like the same skills.
Yeah, you're sort of in control of the set. I mean, Will has a microphone, but he doesn't use it unless he's singing. So like, you're kind of, if we're gonna say something or if a thought is going to be put out into the world during our performance, it's gonna be from you.
Yeah.
So you kind of have that control and you start most of the songs too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're sort of in control of the set.
Yeah.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
See, that was funny. That was pretty good.
Hold for burp. So I think that like being a front man really does make you a comfortable person on stage, and that definitely has led into me just being natural when it comes to doing improv, which is helpful. Super helpful. Big crossover there. And because I have confidence that other people don't have. Which I know is hard for some people, but for me, I feel like I was born to do that. It's just like, I like being in front of people. I like making them laugh. I like performing.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just like, it feels natural for me to do both of those things.
Right.
Yeah.
So like one of the things that I struggle with, I caught wind of my like volume and I peeked up into the, I was just generally speaking and I peeked up into the red. If you're watching the video
right now, you can see him do this with his hands.
Yeah, like, I don't know if you can tell here, but normally I'm not breaking the green, but I'm getting yellow and red right now, which means my voice is projecting more than it is normally. And I'm quite proud of that. So I just needed to talk about it for a second. But it made me lose track of the thought that I was going in. Thank you, Trev.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, anywho. So the question
This is the podcast where we're just making Andy break the entire talk.
Yeah, this is great. It's funny. Yeah, Andy.
Yeah, now let me tell you about performing. It's pretty fun.
I wouldn't. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna say it. 'Cause then you would. I was gonna say I wouldn't hate you just doing the Macho Man impression the rest of it. But
It's too early for me to
saying
commit to
that I would know that you would do it for the next 40 minutes. Because one of the things like I struggle with is like there's this urgency for some reason in my brain to like want to do this, like to have a podcast and like put it out because I just like. It's a creative outlet for me, even though it's just a conversation. Like I like doing it, and it's the same with Andy. He has this, he wants to be on the podcast. He wants to be a videographer. He wants to edit. He wants to do these things. We all have these things that we want to do.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, every week when I put this out and like post it on the internet, it's not so much now. But when I first started doing it, into like even today, part of me is kind of still like, why do I do this? Like, why did we just record ourselves talking for 2 hours and we put it out on the internet? Like, anyone's going to give a fuck about this.
Dude, I struggle with that stuff with our music.
And I know from
we spent a lot of time doing that.
from the creative side, this is something I've talked to a bunch of people about, and they all feel that way. Like whenever we post the EP or like music or something, it's a very exciting time. But then you're like, you have those couple of days before and after where you're like, who even cares? Like, why did we put our? But it's because we're being vulnerable and we're putting ourselves out there, and it's not like it's something we want to do while also saying, hey, we're important enough for you to check out this thing we did. You know?
I think it's more. I feel as artists, we just feel guilt for wanting recognition. Recognition.
Recognition.
For the art that we do, because God knows if we're ever going to get paid for it,
Sure.
So it'd be cool if our friends and family would like care about what we do. And I've battled depression real bad, and I've felt guilty about even having bandmates that be like, I'm wasting their time. I've felt that before. I don't know if you have before, but it's just like one of those things where it's like, it's such a weird thing because it's something that we want to do and it makes us feel great.
Yeah.
But because of where we live, how old we are, like, it's like, well, are we making any money off of it? Is this benefiting me in the future? Those pressures are put on, those questions are put on to you when they don't need to be.
Right.
Those are just questions you're putting onto yourself.
We force ourselves to think these things. Yeah.
Because I could do comedy and music forever and never get any recognition for it, but I think it would always make me feel good.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to not be a musician.
Right.
Yeah. It's just like, even when no one cares at all ever, like, when I'm just in my room, I'm going to be happy singing and playing.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I've tried to quit before and I came right back at it. You know, it's like one of those things where it's hard to sit down once you kind of get grasped by it.
Yeah. But I feel like, I mean, we've had friends stop playing me. I mean, we talked about Jake earlier.
Yeah.
Jake figured out what his priorities were and did what was best for his life, I feel like.
Right. And then, I mean, in that return, I mean, he could also be feeling those same things about what he's doing now, you know?
Yeah.
I just, like, I guess an example, too, is, like, I heard myself say, as a creative, and I know I'm going to hear that when it comes out later. I'm like, fuck you, dude. Who do you think you are? You piece of fucking shit. You know,
you're a creative person.
Yeah, and it's like, it's okay to think that and say that even, but like, there's also that, I think, where you put that out there, you're like, oh, why did I need to put that out there?
I know what you're saying, but I also feel like you're doing the work. And even if no one is recognizing it, because you are doing the work, you are actively working at getting better and improving yourself.
Sure.
Because reps mean everything, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't a good athlete until my senior year. And then, oops, my bad. Because I didn't get reps until then, right? I wasn't like great until I wasn't good at something until I had done it for a long time. And I feel like you doing this will only make you better at this pursuit in the future.
Right.
And because I dropped the water or the Diet Coke bottle, I forgot where I was going with that point. Woo! It's hot in here, y'all.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting. Yeah, like we as people who feel this need or want to be creative there's also, it's not thought of often for even maybe people who aren't necessarily like a creative type. Like they might have these same feelings or thoughts or worries in their own life. You know
I might have a good example for this, right? So we've been talking about comedy and music and stuff, and one of the comedians that's like, I'd say inspired me is as my friend Hunter Miles, right? Yeah. I saw him doing comedy, and I was like, oh, I want to do this. This is what's going to push me to go do this. And he had felt the same thing from being friends with Jackie and the Fever Haze and seeing them do stuff and like be successful at whatever range that is. And like he saw that and yearned for it himself. So he did what he thought he could do with that. And I feel like everyone could do that for whatever it is they want to do.
Yeah.
It's just
it doesn't have to be a creative type thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you could want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher and strive to be those things too.
Nick Anderson, who's been playing bass in our band. Nick, his day job is he's a foreman. You know, he lays stone and brick and does concrete, and you should see what he posts on his Instagram.
He does some beautiful things. Yeah.
It's like
he's
incredible.
Very good.
Nice.
And he's also a pretty good photographer.
He's a photographer.
Too. Let's put that.
That
out
was
there.
like his thing after he stopped doing music in like 2014. He was a photographer. And I realized that the stonework stuff like may not have been his dream, but he makes beautiful works of art with it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is like it sounds silly when we say it, but like, you know, people at Subway, they call them like sandwich artists, you know. But hear me out. I have a point.
Hear me out, dude.
Calm down, guys. I got a point. Chill out.
Like, you know? Great concept.
Like, but like I what that was gonna segue into this idea where like people who like want to become a chef, you know, like even if it is, you know, low leagues like Subway or big leagues like some fancy 5-star restaurant somewhere. Some Subways have a 5-star rating on the internet. It depends on the
Good
thing,
for them.
I think. But
You know
I feel like I should point that
Good
out.
for them.
Yeah.
Not the North Muskegon Subway. That place is
called out.
I will
place
say
that is 3 minutes away from my parents' house.
I will say though, I did order a sub online and they were out of 3 of the things that I had asked for, so they just put extra of the other things on there and didn't charge me for it.
Nice.
So shout out to the North Muskegon Subway. you got a lot of work to do, but that was pretty sick.
You brought this up on the podcast
Did
before.
I?
Yeah, because you were.
Since we're
I'm
talking,
obviously obsessed with
Yeah.
this subway.
since we're talking about the North Muskegon subway, I want to tell an embarrassing story about myself, if I can.
Yeah, we'd love to hear it.
I played sports as a kid, right?
Right.
And I did a lot of traveling. And because of that, my parents did a lot of traveling to pick me up from wherever we were playing or going. I remember after, I don't know if it was a wrestling meet or a baseball game, we're driving home to Whitehall. We're driving through North Muskegon. It's late. We're hungry. We see Subway's open. And I say to my dad, I don't want to go to Subway. They put tomatoes on their sandwiches. And he got so mad at me. And he was just like, what, you can't try a tomato? Is a tomato gonna kill you, Trevor? And I just felt so embarrassed for not trying tomatoes. And ever since then, I was like, tomatoes are cool. Tomatoes are fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that all happened because of that Subway.
Nice. Do you eat tomatoes today?
Yeah.
Nice. I recently just started eating tomatoes.
Yeah.
Or like not getting them not on things.
Yeah. Just having them.
Just like
if they're
like
coming
if it
on
comes
them, I'm
on
gonna eat
if
them.
it comes on the
Yeah.
sandwich, I'll just eat it. I might not.
way.
I might pick one off.
Yeah.
Give it to Lacey or something. I don't
Yeah.
know, but
Nope, I'm no
Not for
tomato.
you. But you got to find a good one. The
Yeah.
thing is, right? I also had another experience where it's like my uncle who's got the Rolling Stone
Yeah.
Woodfire Pizza Co. in Muskegon, Michigan. Shout out! You can go see Rocky and Charlie. They're gonna be doing pop-ups for the next month or so till they
them-
get into Berlin Sprague. I think is the place where
nice.
they're building.
right on. Tell him to do this podcast.
Okay, I'll try.
Yeah.
He's more private than I am.
Yeah.
So it might be harder for him.
Fair.
But he is interesting. He's like a great person to listen to.
Yeah.
He came back home from like living out west for most of my life. Like I remember when I first got like a Yahoo chat thing. It was when AIM was like popular, but we used Yahoo for some reason.
Yeah.
And he got it, and we chatted back and forth all the time when I was a kid about stuff. So when he finally got here, I was really like super stoked to be able to like hang out and talk to him and like him just be my uncle and like learn from him. And he was cooking one day, and he brought down a meal and was just like, here you go. And it had a bunch of stuff that I probably would have never ate before on it. And I was like, and he's like, you got to make what the chef made, dude. And I'm like, you're right. You got it. And he's like, and then after I started eating, he's like, I would customize it if you really did want it, but you should try this. I tried it, and it was delicious. And ever since, I've done my best to not be a picky eater, which is, I feel like, been great for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now I'm just like, whatever, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And it's usually good. And then I'm like,
Right.
oh, man, I was like embarrassed of me not liking a mouthfeel.
Right.
Yeah. No, I get that. I've mostly come around to a lot of foods. And normally right now, if I genuinely don't like a food, it's because of the taste of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but mushrooms,
Like,
I
we're
just
allowed
can't
to not
deal
have-
with.
yeah.
Like, that's
No.
a mouthfeel
That's
thing
one of
for
the
me.
things where I started
And
liking
olives.
it, because
Also
you have
olives.
to
Yes,
get
no.
someone who makes
Hard
it
no.
well.
True. Yeah, that's the
Like
thing.
if you got a mushroom pizza from Rocky,
yeah, I'd
you'd
probably
like
hate it.
You'd probably
Probably
like
hate
I'd
it.
probably hate it.
You'd
Probably
like it.
hate it.
I would hate it.
No,
Probably hate
I'm a
it.
texture-
You'd enjoy
I'm a
it. I'm
texture
going to tell you
I'm gonna
something.
tell myself
You
that I
would
hate
enjoy
it.
There's a pick on the ground.
You can have it. Souvenir.
It's yours.
Nice. Cool.
Cool. Well, my main point in getting to that
Sorry.
when I brought up Subway was that that's sort of the beauty of art and pursuing what your passion is. You can technically call art anything if it's something you care about and you
Yeah.
find yourself pursuing and wanting to get better at it.
Yeah.
A chef, their art is the food and how they present it, how they cook it, what goes into it,
Yeah.
the feeling behind it. Similar to, how you might write a song
Yeah.
or how an artist might paint a picture,
Right.
or something. We can draw conclusions about art based on, what the activity is, really,
Yeah.
I think. And it's universal, I think, everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is just cool.
Yeah.
And
I love art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, art.
Just a few art heads hanging out,
But
talking about.
but I think that's the thing that's hard.
Man,
is-
that moved me. Now that painting over there really moved me.
How far?
Well, I was thrown back into my childhood,
That's
sitting
pretty
on
far.
the beach, looking into the sunset.
Oh yeah.
All that from a few brushes of a paint stroke.
Mm-hmm.
I love art.
Boy, I tell you what. Mm-hmm.
This is a really specific thing, and people who get this are only going to know it because they just happened to watch SNL last weekend.
Yeah.
But Benedict Cumberbatch was the host
Nice.
on the episode, and they did a Blue Bunny ice cream bit
Nice.
where they were like testers, and he and Heidi Gardner were like old Western, and his voice sounded exactly like what you
What I just did.
what you-
Nice.
the voice
I
that
saw
you
the
just did.
Multiverse of Madness movie.
Yeah,
It was all right.
Oh, the movie he's in,
Doctor Strange movie? Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't seen it. He was very good on SNL
Yeah.
this past week, though.
He's a good actor.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Anyways, we don't have to talk about that. Do you think? So, what do you think at this point in your life right now? What do you like more? I mean, where do you like? What's the line between music and comedy? And do you think it's pretty even, or do you like? Is there one that sort of sits with you better?
You know, I have various feelings about all of them. Because, you know, we've been a band since late 2015, which is 7 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of years.
Yeah. Basically, me, Danny, and Will have been playing songs together since then.
3/4 of a decade,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Right around there.
And it's like we're going into our 30s, right? You turned 30 a couple of months ago. I turned 30 next month. What do we want going forward? I think about that a lot. Like, what do we want to do economically? What do we want to do artistically? What's like the best thing for us? I think about that a lot because I do want us, as much as it is a creative like hobby for all of us, I would like us to do well financially.
Sure. Yeah.
And I feel like I haven't really pushed for that a ton because it's always just been a creative outlet.
Right.
And I'd like to be able to develop an audience.
Right.
And I think, we're just finding a new groove right now. And
Well, we've kind
so
of.
it's like I have multiple feelings, I'm also like playing with y'all in Hexing now. So it's like
Yeah.
trying to figure out what's good for that, how we should market those things. We should do creative videos like this. And I'm thinking a lot about multimedia, I don't know, campaigns is like probably too strong of a word, but
Yeah.
like plans, like
Yeah.
tentative ideas
Right.
For us to execute.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
one
I think
thing-
about that stuff a lot because it's like, we're 30. We should think about what we want to do with this. Like,
Yeah.
what's like, what would set us apart? What would help us gain an audience?
Yeah. Well, I think in terms of our situation, a lot has happened over the course of the last 3-4 years
Yeah.
too. I mean, we had a
I mean,
death
every
in the
band.
band.
Yeah, like-
we've had a pandemic the last few
Yeah.
years. Our band members are having children. They're
Yeah,
getting married.
yeah.
It's a lot to. The slow things down sounds like a bad way of putting it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that take a higher priority over playing.
Yeah.
And what.
And since we never had a groundswell, like an internet base when we started, which I feel like a lot of bands have developed in their first couple of years. It's hard for me to think about stuff like that because it's like we've been around, we've played with a bunch of cool bands,
Yeah.
but we never got our footing in touring, never developed like a cult audience.
Yeah.
So it's like I want that. Now I want that.
Right.
Yeah. And if that's through adding comedy to our performances, I'd love to do that. I'm thinking a lot
Soundboards?
about that. Soundboards, maybe. Probably not. I mean, depends on the next album.
Yeah.
After the EP that we have written right now is done, the next one.
Yeah,
There you go.
Then Andy joins the band with just drops.
Because I will
Call me a
agree.
sampler.
It does kind of feel like we've sort of been treading water over the last couple years
I mean,
or so.
listen, Dylan's death fucked me up.
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah.
And I didn't want to write. I mean, not that I didn't want to write songs. It's just like it was hard
It felt
to do anything.
difficult to do it without him.
Yeah.
Like it just didn't feel the same.
Yeah.
In a different way than like when we stopped playing with Jake and started playing with Dylan. Because like in a weird way, like Jake kind of gave us his blessing.
Yeah,
to
and Jake
continue.
was done.
And Jake was
Done.
through.
We were all there going, why isn't Jake doing this? What's Jake doing?
And while we had kind of a planned split initially with Dylan because he was to go off to
Go
college.
to college, yeah.
But it would have probably ended up being one of those things where he would have went off to go to college, and then when he came back, probably would have tried to set up a gig somewhere so he could play with us.
Yeah.
Despite whoever our bass player would have been at the time.
Yeah.
And now I mean we have Nick and it's been great and we're like doing all these things, but we've been sitting on the same EP for
a year and a half.
Like a year and a half, going on 2 years now.
Yeah.
So I do kind of get that sensation of wanting to pursue.
Let's put it
things
out.
more.
Yeah.
Let's do some music videos.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because think about this
Andy,
past...
we are broke, okay?
This past weekend, I mean, recording those 2 songs just to
so
be
much
in that
fun.
environment again was so like... that kind of drove me a little bit to be like, oh, no, I kind of need more of this in my life still.
Yeah.
Like, I like to do this still.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things where you kind of just need something like that once in a while. And I'm sure this Pyramid Scheme show coming up at the end of the month will do a similar thing for me. Just like Hexing's Pyramid Scheme show in 2 months. In July. Will probably do that same thing for me.
That's going to be on July 9th. With years later, See Home in Valle Amore. People want to see that. You can also come see Tim at the Crooked Spires album release show with Levelers and Sebastian and the Mood.
Nice.
Yeah, and if people didn't know, Hexing went and recorded a couple songs last weekend.
Where'd you guys end up going?
We went to Wonder Studios.
Wonder Studios in Chesaning. Yeah, Nick Diener from the Swellers. He might
recorded with him.
also be... He might have also played in a couple other bands. I just can't remember.
I remember he had like a 3-piece there for a minute after Swellers broke up.
Right.
And now he's just doing pedals and working on Wonder Studios and stuff like that.
Well, shout out to him and Wonder Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice. I enjoyed myself. I drove out there on Saturday morning, played some bass parts.
Yeah.
Watched y'all do your thing, and it felt really good. Those songs are going to sound tight once they're all like mixed and stuff.
Yeah. I'm very excited to hear them.
And you wrote the Gangs.
Yeah,
that song is like a Danny Bruick song.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be very nice to finally like release some music and have people hear it, but to also have that feeling of like, oh, what are people gonna think about these songs, and get that sort of rush again too.
Yeah.
They're gonna like them.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, these songs that y'all written are good. I like them a lot. Yeah,
and we're excited to have you on.
Thank
the
you.
board now,
Yeah,
too.
that's
You've been doing great.
I've been jamming with y'all for a month, and it's been fun. Because like Andy knows, playing bass is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you start playing bass, you're like, man, why did I ever play guitar?
Yeah, like I got so much more freedom.
Yeah. But it's been a good time. Sorry. Why? Okay, not to change the subject here, but why are dating apps telling you when to swipe and shit?
Because you haven't used it in a while.
Spring has sprung. Answer questions about seasonal activities. Vibe starts now.
All
Nice.
right.
Tinder. Bumble. Channel those Friday vibes with a palm tree. Make moves. And weekend plans. Don't tell me what to do.
Social marketing.
Yesterday they were like, "It's hot outside. You better." There's also hot singles. I posted that on my Instagram. That
I
was
did
like,
see that. It was
it's
pretty
like,
funny.
Shut the fuck up! It's 87 degrees.
Right.
I'm inside with AC on in my bedroom.
I know. It's a little unfair. I think we kind of basically didn't have a spring.
Yeah.
We went from cold to unseasonably hot.
Yeah.
To where like there's never not a minute in the day where the back of my knees aren't sweating. They're sweating right now as I'm saying this. But
Nice.
yeah, I kind of feel weird about telling the general public that. Like,
Oh, yeah, they're definitely wet.
There's a dampness to it that's uncomfortable.
I have my jokes folder open still. I've got a dating app joke I want to tell you.
Send
let's hear
it.
it.
Okay.
Send it.
Have you ever been on a dating app, swiping left and right? You're being thorough. You're reading the bios. You're figuring out who you like. Think you find the perfect person. You swipe right. Then you're just out of likes. It's like, that was the love of my life! I have to pay $24.99 to meet her. I'll never meet her.
What do you, like when you use a dating app,
Yeah.
how do you personally feel while you're using the dating app? Like, and we'll just do a typical one like Tinder. We'll say Tinder. That seems like, I'm not thinking like Bumble or Match or whatever.
I'm feeling
else there
like
is.
mixed emotions. Like I feel weird just because like everyone makes Tinder out to be like, what they make it out to be.
Yeah.
Like a hookup app or something.
Yeah, and then at the same time, it's like, you get like that built up of like emotions of like finding someone that you potentially could really relate with and connect with, and it kind of like builds up your anxiety a little bit, and like you swipe right. And I was talking to my friend a while back when I was using the app. I was like, dude, do you ever just like swipe right and you just like pause and sit there and wait for the app to like pick up with itself and hopefully it pops up match?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like a little bit of anxiety in there.
As a heavy guy, as an overweight dude, I gotta say, don't get enough matches to really even like. It's like one of those things. It's like I don't really even get matches. Why the fuck am I on here?
Yeah, that's. I mean, even as not a big guy, like I'd never really got a
assume
whole
it's
lot
like
either.
the way I look. It's like is because it's like you can't tell who I am.
Right.
It's like you get a bio and pictures.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like
Well, that's kind
it's
of-
all judgment on like look stuff.
That's basically what
Yeah.
any of it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Well,
nobody
someone's
really.
funny. I mean, I wrote that joke. I do read the bios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think if you're just, there are people who are just looking at the
Swipers.
pictures.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they'll-
Yeah,
just
they'll
know.
make their first impression off of the photo.
I got another joke.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All the
Let
jokes.
them rip.
Okay. One thing I noticed on Tinder now is that more and more women want to know if I have a boat or not. Just like a weird opening line to cast out, right?
I see what you did there.
Thank you. Wordplay, everybody.
I feel like I seen something like that somewhere about it was probably a meme or something like now that it's summer I'm getting all these requests if I have a boat or not.
Yeah.
So when you said that I instantly thought of that.
People, at least maybe it's a local thing. People just are like, you got a boat? I got another one here. This one I've told. So, I haven't dated in a while, but I've been trying to get back in the game. I recently downloaded Tinder again. If you haven't been using the app in a while, you get featured ads every 10 swipes or so, which is like a bummer. But now I have a hot date with Mr. Roto-Rooter next weekend. Yeah.
Nice.
Do you use these like on air at work? Do you use any of these?
Do I use these at the radio station?
Yeah.
No. This is radio station funny is different because you're like,
Restricted to certain things?
yeah, you're trying to like sell what, not necessarily sell, but you're promoting what
What they want you to.
the content. It's because it's a big content creation company now.
Yeah.
Like it's not radio is like almost a secondary thing that they do. It's like we're doing digital first, and then we're doing radio. And we're really trying to push people towards our website and our apps. And because honestly, that's how you get the best engagement. I mean, people still fill out like diaries for like for ratings and stuff, but the quickest way to get real time like digital results is if you do stuff online. Then you can see who's clicking, where they're clicking from.
Yeah.
Then you can develop a strategic strategy to sell to advertisers.
Yeah.
Or have a strategy for the people that you already have as clients.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you think? I'll ask you the same question I asked you earlier. As far as radio persona versus like when you're on air, versus like when you're at your desk or like when you're like here, I guess.
Yeah.
Where are the similarities?
Well, I'm trying to be clever. Generally,
Yeah.
that's the similarity. I'm trying to make a joke. I'm generally trying to make a joke about a headline that we have on our website of a story that I think is funny, or I'm trying to plug something local. That way, people who are like driving in the area, they're like, "Oh, I didn't hear about that," or "I heard about that, but I want more details."
Right.
I'll go follow what he said onto their app or website or whatever. So the similarities is that I'm trying to be funny. I might like project a little more. You know, sometimes when it's just
Like
me,
share
I'm
some of your own
mumbling.
problems on the radio.
Like project my depression onto. Well, it's been a sad week for the Grand Rapids community. No sun now. That's in the middle of the winter or something. I don't know. There's gonna be 3 feet of snow. That's me doing the weather. Yeah, I feel like that's where the crossover is. Is that I feel like my improv self is closer to my radio voice or whatever. Because I'm like trying to enunciate, trying to make people laugh. I'm like I'm trying not to mumble.
Right.
Yeah, because I love mumbling. Yeah.
What do you think you have to like in radio, music, comedy, all aspects of your life?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you found your voice?
No, I feel like I'm still finding it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I have a lot of influences, but sometimes I struggle with coming up with an identity for myself. It's like I know who I am, but is that something that I want to broadcast, or it's like, what things do I want to broadcast and show people? Or I feel like I'm still getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'll ever really know, but I'll have a better idea. You know, some people are like set. They know what they are and who they are, but I feel like I'm still like clay. You know, like I'm still like Clay Aiken for trying to figure myself out. And I think I like being adaptable, but it's also like, who am I? I've got a joke about being white trash, and it's like, do I lean into that? Is that something that I want to do? I got a joke about I got weight jokes. I have like dysfunctional family jokes for all stand-up stuff, and it's like, do I just lean into one area, or do I like diversify what I'm doing? Because I might be more successful if I just focus on one area and maybe build that up, or create a character and then build up that character.
Yeah, but do you find that you battle with that? Like, because I think in music, if you sort of pigeonhole yourself to one genre, like say you're like, I want to write punk rock songs, and you just write to one format, and you're writing
that
punk
I don't
rock
feel
songs.
as boxed in, just because of how musical my whole life has been.
Right. Well, and that's what
And
I'm
I feel
saying.
like we write
I think-
eclectic songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you could do a similar thing in comedy where you can have like a style, but also talk about a number of different
Yeah.
topics and wrap them all around into that same style.
Yeah.
maybe.
You know, I've been thinking a lot how to be musical and comedic. Because it's like, am I a guitar comic? Because a lot of people hate that shit.
I was just gonna say,
But I
think
love it.
That's like maybe not. I don't know if frowned upon is the right, because I'm not in comedy, so I don't really know. But
I think there's too many hacks, and that's why it's frowned upon. It's because
Sure.
there's too many people who don't do it excellently.
right.
It's like there's a lot of people who are just okay,
Yeah.
and some people might just not be in the mood for it.
Why'd you point at me when you said that?
So we talked about audiences earlier.
I thought you were saying you're not the one that.
No, you probably love guitar comedy.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't.
Did you watch
Hate it.
Adam Sandler's Netflix special?
Have not seen it.
You haven't seen the one where he did the song about Chris Farley?
I've seen the song.
Yeah.
I think he performed it.
That was
on
pretty good,
SNL
right?
One time, yeah.
Yeah, you enjoyed that?
I enjoyed it. Yeah,
That's guitar comedy.
yeah. I don't think I wouldn't say I hate it, but I have heard like comedians talk in the past where they've like low key said something like, "Well, at least I don't have a guitar on stage."
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, the
But
guitar
I-
is a shield. It is a
Yeah.
protective shield, and I feel like they're mad because it's cheating. Because it's like I'm presenting something. It's just like if you took a hard persona on stage. It's like you don't have to be yourself. You don't have to be as vulnerable.
You could be Larry,
Yeah.
the cable guy,
Larry, the cable
from
guy, whose real name is Dan.
yeah,
Did you know that?
I didn't know
you
that.
share names
Really?
yeah,
with Larry.
Larry.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. I had one of his DVDs growing up.
So did I.
Yeah, I did
I
too.
love the blue
Yeah,
collar
yeah,
comedy too.
yeah.
That was
It's pretty
my
funny.
shit, Yeah.
Do you like Dusty Slay?
I don't know.
You need to check him out.
You're gonna
love him.
He's pretty
Okay.
funny.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dusty, when you were talking about voices earlier, it's like I'm like a little Dusty Slay, a little Ron Funches. I watched Bad Friends all the time, so I'm like, I'm a little Santino.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
Santino a lot.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's so
he's
funny. Andrew Santino
Yeah.
is like, he's so fast. It's like everything is quick and everything could be an improv.
Yeah. Well, I hate listening to his podcast because sometimes I'm like,
Is this a bit?
I cannot tell if what he's saying is true or if he's just joking around. Because
Yeah.
like even the guest is like, wait, what? Really?
Sometimes.
And then like the bit just kind of falls apart at
Yeah.
that point. But yeah, he's so funny. He's quick, and that's somebody I'd watch do improv.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd be great at it.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's not. Maybe he's only
He's a
in
stand-up.
comedy. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a stand-up who's a great actor, and I mean, podcasts enable people to be able to do improv. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people are doing improv in their comedy or in any podcast. They're just like, hey,
Yeah.
we've got a set things that we're gonna do, and then we're all just gonna riff, right?
Yeah.
So they're doing improv comedy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I think we've been at this pretty long here. We're going to get into a quick lightning round, then I'll have you promote all the other stuff that
Are
you've
we?
already promoted.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. Can't you see? Can't you see? We've done so much time.
I'm looking at the timer right now.
Yeah.
Is that 49 minutes?
Close.
Okay.
38 minutes.
What?
We've been here for much longer than that.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
an hour and
I'm trying
40.
to. Oh,
Okay.
I'm trying to confuse people because Andy
I didn't see
doesn't
the
like
one
it
in
when I
front of
say
it.
the time.
I
how
don't
long
care
we've been
anymore.
going.
I don't
You
edit it.
It
I
looks
don't
like
edit
we've
the
been on
podcast
for
as
one
much.
for 134.
That's back when I was like cutting everything.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
takes too much time.
Yeah,
Like it raw.
yeah,
No homo.
yeah.
Do you like writing a song or a joke more?
Ooh.
Do you have an acoustic guitar out there?
I don't. Sorry.
I was just gonna like come and improv a song. I like both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lately, writing a joke comes to me quicker. Like
Sure.
when I'm thinking about song stuff, I've been playing a lot of covers in my house when I'm just practicing something that like sounds good, or I have been getting lyrics a lot lately, though.
Yeah.
So I have been writing lyrics down a ton. The same way I think about comedy. Because I do get... The thing is, I'll have like a punchline, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll have to think of a setup for it.
Yeah.
Or I'll have the setup and a little bit of the punchline. And
Right.
that's where I get stuff like this, where it's like, I know how it's going to end. I know how it's going to begin. And the hard part is like drilling that down to something good. And I'm still getting better at it. I mean, honestly, I did a few Parrots open mics. I hosted that 420 show.
Oh, yeah.
And now I need to get back at it because I'm going to be hosting Slutfest at Jimmy's house in Allendale this summer, which I'm going to look up so I can also promote that.
June 4th
Which is going to be a multi...
in Allendale.
It's going to be...
Slutfest
At Jimmy's house.
at Jimmy's house.
At Jimmy's house in Allendale.
Bands
It's going to be music and comedy.
and music.
It's mainly
And
just
comedy.
been music for the last couple of years. And Jimmy throws great parties.
He
You
does.
know him from
With
the band
music.
Greet Death.
and comedy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And food.
Yeah. If you've
Jimmy's a great
Incredible
guy.
Spread. Yeah,
if you've ever,
Jim throws
if you've
a
ever
party
been,
for
if you've
sure,
ever
yeah.
been to
Shout out to Jimmy.
Lamangelo's,
Yeah.
probably had some
muffin.
food that he's baked.
Or a cup of Joe.
Or a cup of muffin.
Muffin of cups.
A cup of Muffin Joe. Muffin Joe sounds like a cool guy.
Yeah.
Muffin Joe sounds like a sex act.
All right, this has been great. Thanks for coming by, Trevor. This was a great episode.
Please come see Hexing July 9th at the Pyramid Scheme with Years Later in Seaholm and Val Amore. Or is it Valet Amore? Val Amore? We'll figure that out when we play with them. You can come see Tim, the band that Danny and I play in. That show's coming up really quick here. It's going to be on Saturday, May 28th. Show starts at 7. Doors are at 7. Music's probably around 8.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we're going to be the second band.
Probably. That's what it
You
seems
can
like.
hit Danny or myself up for tickets. You can hit us up online at any of our social media outlets. You can find us at timistheband.bandcamp.com. You can look up Tim online at on Facebook. Let me just make sure I have the URL correctly here. Facebook.com, a band called Tim.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. I was just kidding when I said that this has been great, that we were going to wrap the episode
Yeah,
up.
we hated it. It wasn't
Yeah.
that great.
Okay, I'll leave.
No,
Fuck you guys!
like I'm saying, like I have more questions, man. We don't do the promoting thing until after I do the lightning round,
It feels
man.
nice out there, y'all. Let me tell you something.
You can leave it.
So
We don't need sound quality in here. Open that door up. It is hot. Hot in. So hot in here.
Hell yeah. I have 2 more questions. My first
Oh, we were
one.
doing a speed round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was.
A 2-question speed round?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
you
Hurry up.
spend so much time promoting things. I answer questions. Oh, okay. I'll do it. I'll
What's the speed round questions?
give me a memory of a time in Tim that sort of sticks out to you. And I'll try and
Okay.
think of one too.
Okay. Let's see. I mean, I have so many memories. We've been a band for 7 years. There's been a
Yeah.
lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
I love all the stuff from us jamming in your basement at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And Temple House. And, I mean, playing our first show as a band. Actually having people there. It was, let's see. So that was that the Hot Mulligan show in the basement?
Yeah, we
Was
did.
that our first real
we-
gig? Or
we did play with
we played
Hot Mulligan at Temple
Or was
House.
that the second? It was like maybe that was our second or third show.
I think we did another show where we played like 4 songs and we were just like a quick opener. to the show where
I have a GoPro picture of it.
I think it was where you guys were already on it as a 3-piece, you, Jake, and Will, and then I joined like a week or two before that and just played the show.
Okay. Yeah, and we had like 4 songs.
Yeah, and I don't know if I knew all of them yet, so I was just kind of riffing a lot of the time up there.
You know what? Let's see. Posted September 26, 2015. So that was our first gig together.
Yeah. And
I remember this show.
The Hot Mulligan show, I think, was a little while
That
after.
was in December or something.
Yeah. It's like a few months after that, yeah.
But this first show, there was a 2-piece from Ohio I remember played.
Yeah. Good personalities.
Yeah, they were good.
They were cool. They crashed at our house that night, too.
Nice.
I think we smoked weed out on the stairs.
Nice. Man, yeah, I missed that view.
Temple House is a collection of us having the bands crash with us and us just smoking weed with them out on the stairs.
Yeah, and they're like going like, wow, these stairs are dangerous.
But it's funny. It's hilarious how often I've watched, like, or when I lived there, how often I would watch bands just like pass out while we were just chilling after we got them so stoned they couldn't really function anymore. Like, there was several times where that happened. I remember one time, a controversy noted, because I think this band has since been canceled, but Island of Misfit Toys played up here one time, and they went back to our house to crash after the gig, and I think 2 or 3 of the members and me and Will just smoked, and we were out there until about like 4 or 5 a.m. And I ended up going to work the next day at like 6 in the morning.
And you go in early.
I was in at like 6 a.m.
So you just stayed up.
I basically slept for maybe 20 minutes and then went into work. Did they play in
Temple House basement, or did they play at...
They played at Pope's Pub.
I remember that show.
R.I.P., but really instead of peace, I mean pieces, because fuck that place.
Yeah, did not have fun there.
Yeah.
Here's another one. 2016. Look at that pick. That's an early pick.
That's hot.
That's a house show we played. That was a lot of fun.
That was at Anthony's house, wasn't it?
No, this is that show. We took pictures before it. This was the house that had the back room where people.
Oh man,
This is like a
good and goofed
double
at that
wide
show. Yeah, I remember that gig.
I was still playing my
Never
Telecaster.
sounded better on stage as I did in that person's living room after.
That was a good show.
Getting good and zonked before we played.
Let's see. We got some awesome shows. Our 420 show at Max Pub. That was a lot of fun.
That's my memory that sticks out that I've shared 1,000 times, because we were on stage and it was you. Jim was filling in on drums.
Jim was filling in for Will.
us.
Will did the stupidest fucking thing. He was like mad and punched a wall or something. Something he would never do. If you've met Will, it's like...
I remember, I think we played, didn't we play fairly well? And I don't even think I had a practice with Jim. Or maybe
Jim didn't have a practice with us.
Yeah, he just listened to the songs.
Because it happened like 3 days before.
Yeah, we got added last minute to this gig with Hot Mulligan. And Parkway and Columbia, I think, also played.
Let's see what I got. I got Parkway, Columbia, and Whittier.
Whittier played,
so
all the buds,
Alaska,
But I remember we were on stage, and you made the funniest joke that got no reaction at all. And I imagine it's how you... sometimes feel when you do stand up, where I was frustrated for you. But you said, oh, look at that beard.
So cute.
Shut the fuck up.
You need to grow it back.
Nah, it looks bad now. But we were on stage and you were in between songs and you said, hi, we're Tim. We're 420 somethings. Yeah. And it was on 420 that you made this joke. And it was the funniest joke. Yeah. And it cracked myself, Jake, and Jim up.
Yeah.
And you look out in the audience and it's crickets, dude. No one fucking laughed at that joke at all. And it was the funniest joke.
Then I made, so I've got pictures here. I don't know if we want to put them in post. I'm wearing a Willie Nelson shirt because it's 420.
Nice.
And I was like, how many of you people know who Willie Nelson are?
Yeah.
And no one did.
Yeah,
of course not.
Well, Hot Mulligan was like this hot new band, right?
Yeah, and they're
all young.
Yeah, they were probably 18 or 19
Yeah,
at the time,
we were all like 24, and they were all like 19 or 20. Yeah.
Nice. What do you think?
Oh, this show. Do you remember this show? This was a different 420
yeah, that was
show.
a
We
good.
played at Tip Top.
That was a good.
I
gig.
remember the sound guy was like, "You guys don't play like you're an opening band." And I like that.
Nice.
I remember that was fun.
Yeah.
Jake's last show, super memorable.
Yeah. I dressed as Dwight
Yeah.
for Halloween that year. I remember. That was a fun show. I played 2 sets that day, and they filmed So they filmed a song that Hexing played, and there's shots of me playing both in Tim's set and in Hexing's set, because there's shots where the Hexing band is watching me play,
Yeah.
but I'm also playing with Hexing
But
too.
that's in the video.
In the video. And it also was a good indication of which Hexing members weren't watching Tim play, which I made them
Hilarious.
feel very bad about. But there's also a shot in that video where Jackie, at one point, I don't remember what costume she wore. I feel like it was like she was just like a cucumber or something.
Yeah.
I forget exactly. But there's a line in the song that we filmed where Jordan sings the word hell, and
Yeah.
it's really elongated.
Yeah.
And at one point, Jackie's just putting her arms up in the air like this during the whole like breath that Jordan is singing the word hell.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's very good video editing. Shout out to James, who I think is the one that recorded that video.
And a couple of, before we move on to the next question here, a couple of other shows. Every show with Dylan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that first house show with
Yeah.
Taking Meds.
Yeah,
That was lots
that
of
Fuller
fun.
House gig.
Yeah.
That was so fun because we ended up lighting a joint,
Yeah.
and then more joints came back to us
Yeah,
at
and
one
we
point.
passed it around during the show.
Someone was trying
It
to
was
hand
like-
me a joint while I was playing, and I think
Yeah.
they just put it in my mouth,
Yeah.
and then I didn't know what to do
That was
with
a good
it.
time.
Once I was done inhaling, I was like,
Pass it. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know what to do because my hands were busy.
Playing.
But
I tried playing back when I smoked cigarettes. I tried playing with a cigarette in my mouth. It was the worst thing ever, just because the smoke
People
got in
used
my
to do that,
eyes.
all that shit.
Yeah.
It got my eyes, and it made my eyes
they
water.
put
And
it
then
up-
I'm just like,
You watch like old videos of people playing, and they're just like putting the cigs like on top of the neck, or they're like
oh yeah,
putting it
yeah.
on a string. They're like
Yeah.
poking it through
Yeah.
the filter through the one of
Yeah.
the like extra strings.
oh yeah, I remember watching a band. We had a band come out, the 100 Acre Woods, one time.
I remember that
They-
band.
they
Yeah, yeah.
played-
Great fucking name.
Right.
Yeah.
They played the beach. They did it. They had like a day where show got canceled, so we had them last minute like come through and play Bronson Park, I think.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. Their drummer had like a drum set, like a bongo thing set up, and he was smoking cigarettes. He'd like start in between songs. He'd light up a cigarette, and then they'd be playing, and you'd kind of watch him slowly start to realize, like, shit, I'm just gonna be sitting here with this in my
Yeah,
mouth
singing
right
in my
now,
mouth, yeah.
because I can't stop hitting this drum, or else
Yeah.
the song will sound bad. And it
Yeah.
was just kind of fun to watch. I remember that so vividly.
There's also, the last show with Dylan was really great. I got
At Green
a picture
Acres?
right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great show.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a lot of great
Good gig.
memories with Tim because I think we're good friends, and I think that we like make cool music together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are you excited the most for about being in Hexing now?
Well, it's cool. I mean,
The fame, the glory.
the fame, the glory, all the cash,
Yeah.
the sweet royalty checks that we're going to be getting.
Hell yeah.
No, I mean, I love y'all. Like, I've been y'all's number one fan for a long time. So I'm just happy to be hanging out and like learning new songs. I mean, you and Jordan are both like so technically ahead of me, like guitar wise. You guys are just like great guitarists, and it's
Thank
like
you.
I can't be sloppy like I can be in Tim. It's like I wrote this.
Right.
With y'all, and because I want you to sound good. Plus, I'm really excited to do backup vocals. I think
No.
as much as I love being the front man in Tim, I think I'm a great side person.
Yeah.
Like, think I can harmonize with most people.
Yeah.
Playing bass, I'm not like playing guitar. It's like, it's a little different. You get to be a little more creative with what you're playing. You don't necessarily have to play full chords or like stick to a certain thing. As long as I'm playing to Zach or to whatever you guys are doing.
Yeah.
I feel it'll be fun. I've been, the last few practices, I've been like looking at Zach and just trying to be like, I'm going to sound good if I'm in time with the drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, we're going to be tight if I'm tight with him.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've been like trying to do at practice.
Yeah.
Is that like when I come to hexing practice, I'm trying to play the lines right because I'm still new. So it's like some of the bass lines, I don't have 100% down, but I'm like getting closer. And now this last week, y'all gave me a microphone.
Yeah.
So I get to sing.
Yeah.
So now I'm just going to be trying to be able to sing and play at the same time.
Yeah.
With bass lines, which is a little different than singing and playing guitar. Because with guitar, there's muscle memory.
Yeah.
Because I've played it for 12 years, 13 years or whatever.
What's the goal for your comedy endeavors? Where would you like to see yourself in the next year, 5 years?
I'm
10
trying.
years?
I want to be on the. I know I said earlier in the pod that I've spread myself out too thin, but I do want to join the cast at Comedy Project and start doing shows there. So next time they have auditions, I'm going to try out. I tried out last time. I'd only been doing improv for like 6 months or so, and I feel like I've been doing it for over a year now, and I'm much better. And reps are going to make me better.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes my cam.
That's okay. I got you. I'm not really going to film. Yeah. I mean, at least you tried, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what's important is at least you got it.
So my goal is I want to be able to do stand-up. And I want to be able to have my own improv thing. And I want to do sketch videos. I know last time we were on the pod, I was talking about doing sketch videos for Tim. I do want to do sketch videos. So
We'll
I feel
make
like
it happen one of these days.
my next goal is to write sketch videos and execute them. I have an idea for a series that I want to do. And I kind of want to do that. Plus, I want to do as much acting as I can on stage at the Comedy Project. Maybe become a staple of one of the shows. Who knows? That's high goals right now.
Yeah.
Right, because I'm still pretty new. But
Like, these are the goals that you get when you're stoned? No, I'm just kidding. You said high
I get
goals.
stoned. I'm like, if I said yes and, it would be hilarious. I hope they like me.
I was thinking about this the other day. I thought this would be a funny bit to do because I think even like someone who barely knows anything about improv at least knows like the idea of yes and.
Yeah.
You know? And I thought it would be really funny to have a person who's like really cocky about going to like an improv class. Like there's like the first shot is them like, oh, I could do that. It's yes and I could do that. And then they go to like an improv class or an improv show and they get set up in one of the games and all they say is yes and that's like what they think improv is. Like I thought,
literally.
Literally.
They literally only think that's how the jokes
yeah.
are going to be constructed.
Like someone says something and they go, yes, and then they like wait for the next person to say something because that's what they think. Like,
yeah. So do we want to do this scenario right now?
We could.
Okay.
Sure.
Andy, can I get a situation, maybe like a place where you've been meaning to go or a store where you got to go pick something up at? Should I get like a place where you're...
Costco.
Costco.
Okay. Welcome to Costco. Would you like to try one of our free steaks today?
Yes. And
we also have free drinks.
Yes. And
You can do this as many times as you'd like. Just make sure you go around to the other vendors.
yeah.
Please, sir.
And
Sir, we have a sale on steaks.
Yeah. And?
Listen, I don't get paid a lot to do this, man.
And
I don't appreciate your attitude. Either get the steak or don't get the steak.
yeah. And
leave me alone! Scene.
beautiful. I was thinking that the scene would end there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. No, I think I get improv now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah,
I
you
made
can
it
do
through
it.
that whole scene. I've never done improv before.
You're a natural.
Yeah. No, okay. How about that? Let's close with that because I've already asked you the question about the lineup you'd want, like, right? The dream lineup for a gig.
Yeah, we've done the lineup.
We did that one already.
Yeah, we've done all the closers.
What's an easy, quick improv game we could do right here that wouldn't take, maybe more than a few minutes that we could do?
That all of us could do?
Yeah.
Do you want to do short form? Short form's pretty fun.
Sure. You'll have to explain it because Andy and I have no idea.
So there are a
what
lot
you're
of different games you
Yes,
can do.
and
There are a lot of different games. A great game that we do generally on Monday nights. If you were to come to the Comedy Project and stick around for the jam, so after the show gets over, we'll stick around. We'll do a few different scenes. One of the games that we play is called World's Worst. So that's a game that's pretty easy for everyone to play. I'm going to name it an occupation, and then you would say something that would be the example of the world's worst. So, for me to do something for you guys, if I said world's worst, dentist, and then you guys would come in with your character or whatever phrase you want, and it would be like, man, last time I was here, I had to use the drill. And then you'd go to the next person.
oh, okay.
Just be like one line to show that they're the world's worst, whatever the category is.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah. So do you guys want to do world's worst dentist? Do you want me to give you something different?
Try something
Yeah,
different.
try something
Okay.
different. Yeah.
Um,
Well, I got one. World's worst improv.
No.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
See, we've done that at the. That's like an inside joke, like when it's only the people who do the improv every week, and it's just like we're all just standing around doing that, and then we just do like wrestling scenes.
Hilarious.
No, a world's worst drive-through worker. Hey man, I think you get 69 cents back.
See, no, that was me improving the world's worst drive-through worker. I just didn't say anything.
That's fucked
Right.
up.
That would be
You're
the
not
world's
playing the
worst.
game.
Is that not how it works?
No.
Well, it would be. Here's where I'd go with that. If we're resetting here real
Yeah.
quick,
Do we
it'd be
start?
world's worst drive-through worker, and then you go, "Hey, can I take your order?"
Yeah, you gotta set the scene.
Wait, okay. I'm confused now. You've gotten me confused a little bit here. Because was that you saying that
Yeah.
as the drive-through worker? Or was that
Yes.
me saying that as the drive-through worker?
That should have been you.
That should have been me. Well,
I'm still doing it
we
right
lost the
now.
second one. Or did we?
No, you did.
There it is.
Oh, there it goes.
World's worst
Do you want me to say something now?
guitar center
You want
employee.
me to say something?
World's worst.
Well, I thought we were on fast food.
Yeah, but it seemed like you guys weren't doing examples, so I was coming up with the next one. See, what we do is we do that until we're exhausted of examples.
Yeah.
We move on to another one.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to Guitar Center, where we don't have any more guitars.
Oh, okay.
World's worst. Can I turn this amp up to 11? I'm just gonna do some arpeggios. Don't worry about me. World's worst.
Oh, you want me to say something?
Yeah,
now?
I want you to go.
Oh, dude. I don't know.
We
You
both
put me-
did one.
You're putting me on the spot.
You're gonna have to
dude.
buy these heavy strings if you want to get that tone that you want.
World's worst truck driver.
Honk honk. I really only do the honks.
See, I like that one. That's pretty good. I kind of like it more when you do it. I don't like being put on the spot like this.
Okay,
I'm
well,
not
if you guys want
I'm
to give
not
me
a quick thinker.
categories or jobs, occupations.
World's worst sportscaster.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Just a bit outside. Dan, we're playing basketball. That was a baseball reference.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
World's worst.
Car salesman.
Hey, man, this thing's going to break down in like 40 minutes, but I'm going to need about 1,200 down right now.
Pretty good.
World's worst engineer.
What the fuck is math?
That's pretty solid.
World's worst.
World's worst scientist.
Man, what the fuck is math? Works for multiple.
World's worst math teacher.
Man! What the fuck is math? I'm a liberal arts major.
World's worst meth head.
This isn't where I parked my car.
I'm calling the cops.
That's pretty good. You took it in a
That's an
way.
official gag.
You took it in a way I didn't think. I was hoping you'd say, "What the fuck is meth?" Because you've been saying, "What the fuck is math?" The last few
What the
times.
fuck is math?
There you go.
That was an impression of my mom. Hey!
Hilarious.
There's another game that we play called Slogans. Is it slogans or is it catchphrase?
Hi, welcome to Logan's, where we don't have any slogans.
So it'd be like Logan's.
Pretty good. I like that. Andy.
So it's similar to World's Worst, where it's like Nike, just jump off the face of the earth. Nike, just dunk it. Dunk your donut. That is Nike. So it'd be like an example of like, give me a brand, and then I'd do
Nike.
McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba! I'm craving it because my body is addicted to the sugars and the meat.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I like to go big.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
I think
if
it
it's a crutch
suits.
or not.
I think it suits you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you-
Well, that's why, like, when you're asking me who am I finding myself, it's like, am I go big guy? Because I think I am.
Yeah. I feel like you're at your most natural. In the times I've seen you do stand up, the bits that you have where you kind of get into like the louder voice where you're waving your arms around and you're like exclaiming things and whatnot tend to be like your funnier moments, I think.
Yeah. That's what I feel like one of the things that I've said to people is like off of the stand up that I've done is I just need to get off book so I can continue to perform the jokes.
Yeah.
So I feel like there needs to be more inflection.
Yeah.
I'm still when I was doing stand up a couple weeks ago, I was still looking at my notes a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, those are a couple games that we like to play.
Cool.
That's pretty cool.
World's Worst and Slogans. I'm pretty sure that game's called Slogans.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Trev, for coming on.
Thank you.
This
Thanks
was
for
fun.
having me.
Yeah.
It was a blast.
I was so stoked to be the first video guest.
That's it.
Nice. So I guess we'll do the closer then. You've already answered this before, but let's maybe do it. Let's change it up, and instead of just giving yourself some general advice, why don't you give your comedy self some advice in terms of what your comedic goals might be? So in the future, you can listen to this.
So in the
and hear
future, I can listen to this and give myself comedy goals to achieve for, or
Just give yourself some advice, something you might need to hear, like future comedian Trevor Swanson.
do the work, write stuff down, and believe in yourself.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nice.